2023 might actually be the Nintendo Switch's best year. Let's talk about it. Hello there everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is BoTalksGames, and today I wanted to talk kind of just about the release lineup for the Switch and gaming as a whole over the next 6 or 7 months, because I was crunching the numbers, I was making the list of games. I'm like, okay, I want to buy this game, I want to buy this game, I want to play this, I'm going to check this out, at least eventually, and I am shocked by how much there is. There's nothing inherently, like, groundbreaking, insane. You know, for me, last year was a huge year with Xenoblade 3, Bayonetta 3, Fire Emblem 3 Hopes, Splatoon 3, Switch Sports, shout out. There's nothing quite to that scale except for Super Mario Bros. Wonder this year, and maybe Super Mario RPG, but the amounts of variety, the amount of old games coming back, the amounts of new stuff, this lineup is actually kind of insane. Now, I'm going to run through a list, and I didn't pull every major Switch game coming out this year, but I pulled out most of them. People upset that there's not enough to play, I don't know what to tell you. And yeah, a lot of it is ports and remakes and remasters, but that's been the case every year of the Switch's life. That's the case for every platform, really, so I don't fully see that as an issue. Is there room for maybe one or two more things from Nintendo itself? I think so. I think there probably will be another maybe EPD4 game, the team that makes a Stinky Horse game, right? Maybe a Ring Fit Adventure 2, something more casual like that. But looking at this lineup, I can safely say out of every year of the Switch, from a first-party and third-party perspective, I have never had more I'm excited to play. I actually genuinely don't know how I'm going to fit all of this in. And these are all games that are just getting released physically also. You know, I'm sure there's still plenty of stuff that's getting digital releases too, like Vampire Survivors, which I'm very excited is finally coming to Switch. That'll be playing in August. But let's go ahead and get into it and just talk about this. And let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Which games are you excited for on the Switch in 2023? Because Switch is having a great year, but also I think other platforms are as well. Third-party stuff is on fire this year. I know a lot of people are excited for Starfield, Spider-Man 2. I'll be picking up maybe a little bit after October 20th now, because Mario comes out the same day. Thanks, Nintendo. But let's go ahead and get into this. So starting in July, of course, we have Pikmin 4 on July 21st. I am so excited for this game. I've liked Pikmin my whole life, but, you know, it's not something I've ever really, like, gotten excited for, partially because in the past 10 years there's only been one thing to get excited for, and that was hey, Pikmin, and that game's not very good. But Pikmin 4 looks absolutely fantastic. If you like Pikmin, you can look at this game and tell, like, oh, this is going to be something good. The new Ice Pikmin, the Glow Pikmin, this looks fantastic, coming out in just under a month now, so that's really exciting. And of course, that's a huge first-party game for Nintendo, maybe not in terms of sales, but in terms of core audience appeal, so that one absolutely day one. Next up is a game that's kind of been sliding under my radar. They announced it back in February, I believe, or maybe it was late last year. It initially leaked, I believe. Maybe I think it was at the Disney games event they did last September. Disney Illusion Island. This is being made by, I believe it's D-La Studios, the team that actually made the Battletoads reboot for Xbox, and in collaboration with Rare. This is as close to a new Rayman Legends game as we will get, it looks like. It's Disney, that really nice art style for Mickey Mouse they have these days, just in a 2D multiplayer co-op platforming space. There is some weird confusion. I couldn't fully find out. It looks to me like Disney is just publishing it themselves, but I have heard rumblings that maybe Nintendo is actually involved as well. This is a Switch exclusive, and as someone who loves 2D platformers, this is right up my alley. I don't know if I'll get it day one. I might wait to see how reviews are, but it is getting a physical release, which I did not know until I was preparing for this video, so instantly made this a something much higher on my priority list as a physical collector, but also someone who loves playing a lot of games. And then yeah, there is a noticeable gap. I think a lot of people have talked about this. I might even do a separate video talking about it in August, where there's nothing. There might be some third-party things I'm missing. Like I said, Vampire Survivors is coming out on the eShop. I'm very excited to play that on Switch. But there is nothing there from Nintendo. So that makes me wonder, could there be more releases? Like I said, maybe an EPD4 game, maybe something smaller like Kirby's Dream Buffet last year. We'll see. I'm not super holding my breath, because they've packed the first half of the year so full of content. But yeah, nothing in August is kind of weird, especially because the next game I think would have been perfect for August, and that's Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 HD Remaster. I am so excited to finally play these games. Xenoblade is my favorite Nintendo franchise, or at least very close to being my favorite Nintendo franchise. Xenoblade 2 and 3 are some of my favorite games of all time. So to finally have Baten Kaitos playable in a modern format on the Switch is super exciting. I don't know why Nintendo isn't publishing this. I'm sure Bandai Namco would have been more than happy to let them do it. Switch exclusive remasters of old games, sure, but as someone who's never played these games, they might as well be new to me, and I'm so excited to finally get to these. And it's 2 games in one. It's 2 in one package. It's only getting a physical release through Play Asia, like the Asian English releases. So I already pre-ordered it, but I don't know how I'm going to make the time to get through both of these. My goal is, because there's not a ton in September that I'm super interested in, going into early October, I'm hoping I can at least get through the first one. My goal is to at least get through Baten Kaitos 1 before the onslaught that is October and November, but I'm super excited for this. I love Monolith Soft. There's some issues with the port itself. There's no English dub. That's a little annoying. But there are those improvements, the 300 times speed, the turning off random encounters, that makes this something that I'm very excited for. And still just very confused that Nintendo isn't publishing. Similarly to that Fashion Dreamer game from Sin Sophia, the new Style Savvy. They're not publishing that either. That's weird to me. I don't know if they're trying to distance themselves from certain things, but very odd. Because even with Baten Kaitos, if you look at the box art or the back of the box and on the eShop, it does say copyright Nintendo, because they do in part own the IP with Bandai Namco. So I don't know why they're not publishing it. It's very weird. Very, very weird. And I feel like if they were, the people saying like, oh, there's not much between Pikmin 4 and Detective Pikachu Returns, those people wouldn't be saying anything. So very weird. Then on September 22nd, this is kind of cheating, but Pikmin 1 and 2 HD. I'm not going to buy it digitally. I played these games for the first time earlier this year. However, I do definitely want to pick up this physical release from a collecting standpoint, because I love the idea of having all 4 Pikmin games physical on Switch. But if I have time, I might try to squeeze in an extra playthrough, at least of the first game, just because it's so short. Pikmin 2 takes a little bit longer, but Pikmin 1 and 2 HD coming out, so happy it's getting a physical release. I wish it was a little bit closer, like Metroid Prime Remastered was earlier this year, but alas, what can you do? Can't complain too much. I'm just happy these GameCube ports are getting a physical release at all. That is not something I would expect from any other publisher than Nintendo. Then on September 28th, a game I just found out is getting a physical last night. Very, very happy. I actually talked about this on my podcast because I was disappointed. Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai Infinity Strash. This is that really cool looking action RPG from Square Enix, real-time combat, starring Dai. If you don't know, The Adventure of Dai is a Dragon Quest manga series from the late 80s, I believe, into the early 90s. They've recently did a new anime. They're finally releasing the manga in English through Viz, although I think they already stopped, even though it's not done, which is really annoying. But this game looks great. I'm not a huge Dragon Quest fan, though it's something I do need to get it more into, because I think I would be a huge Dragon Quest fan if I just got into the series. But this looks fantastic. September 28th, and that's another not Switch exclusive. I think that's actually the first game on this list that's not Switch exclusive, and maybe I would play on PlayStation, to be honest, but still coming to Switch. Very nice. Dragon Quest. We actually have another Dragon Quest game on this list, which is funny. Very cool to see. October 6th, Detective Pikachu Returns, a game that I am going to play and I will talk about on this channel, but just from that first trailer, not very excited for it, admittedly. I'm going to play through the first game in the coming weeks and months. Hopefully I can squeeze that in on 3DS, but I think this game looks bad. I think it looks actually like kind of terrible, at least visually. The trailer didn't really tell us what the game's about or what the gameplay is. I'd assume it's just similar to the 3DS game, but it's been 4 years since it was announced. Very weird release, very low-key, but that's fine because October has other better things to look forward to. Now, there's a couple of weeks in there with nothing. I think Disgaea 7 comes out in that time frame. I would imagine a game I'm very excited for is Naruto Storm Connections. That's coming out in the fall, so I would assume that's going to be in October. And that's a huge deal for a lot of people because that's the first time a Naruto game has launched day and date on Switch. I know. People watching this video probably don't care. These Naruto Storm games do extremely well. So to have it finally come day and date with other platforms on Switch is very, very nice. Now, I'm not going to play it on Switch. I'm going to be playing that on PS5 because it's 60 FPS on PS5. But very exciting. That's a game I'm stoked for. But yeah, then on October 17th, we have Sonic Superstars, which I don't think is actually confirmed. I got an email from, I believe it was Video Games Plus Canada, saying pre-order now, October 17th, and then I think GameStop listed it, but then all these retailers removed that. So I do almost wonder if this game will get pushed to maybe November, because Sega held that Sonic Central. They saw, oh, Mario Bros. Wonder's coming out on October 20th. Maybe maybe we shouldn't release it 3 days before Mario Bros. Wonder. So I would not be surprised if Sonic Superstars slips past that a little bit, or if it's done early, maybe pushed up a little bit. But I'm excited for this. I'm not a huge Sonic fan, but I think Sonic Superstars actually looks like a lot of fun. Playing it through with my girlfriend, the first truly local co-op 2-player, 4-player Sonic game. That's exciting to me, and I actually like the art style. RSS is making it, which isn't the most promising thing, but still a game I'm excited to check out. Maybe wait for a price drop anyway, because Sonic games go on sale very quickly. But then, yeah, like I said, October 20th, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. This is definitely the most anticipated game of the year for me. I've never felt this way watching a new 2D Mario game get announced, mostly because throughout most of my life, it's been a new Super Mario Bros. Style, which isn't that exciting. Those games are great. I actually do like all of them, more than most people, I think, but they're not exciting. Super Mario Bros. Wonder is, and I've said this on the podcast, I think I said it in another video, this is almost to the level of a new 3D Mario to me. This is a kind of a historic moment. This is the first truly new 2D Mario game in 20 years. That's crazy. And I think it looks absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to get more information, more trailers, more information. Just, I need to see more of this game, because I want to see more of this game, because it looks so damn good. I want to see, you know, how many worlds there are, what all the little different animal power-ups are. We know there's going to be a caterpillar of some kind in the game, right? From Puro, shout out. So I just want to see more of that stuff, and then, yeah, give it to me. I want this game so bad. This is my most hyped game of the year for sure, which I never thought I would be saying about a 2D Mario game, but this game's gonna do numbers. People are sleeping. I saw people on Family Boards arguing like, oh, or maybe not Family Boards. Like, it was one of the gaming forums arguing like, oh, Mario Bros. Wonder isn't gonna sell better than Tears of the Kingdom. You sure about that? You sure about that? It might not break records immediately, but it will definitely have long legs on the Switch. So this game's gonna be huge for Nintendo. Definitely a major release after Zelda. Eat your heart out, journalists. So that's incredible right there. Then October 24th, a series I have never really played, Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 1, once again getting a physical release. Now, the cartridge is a little weird. There's not anything on it, apparently. But if I'm going to buy the game anyway, I'd rather have a physical something tangible to hold. So, yeah, I'm super excited to check these out. Another thing that, like Baten Kaitos, where there's no way I'll make time for all of them this year. But MGS Collection, very excited. I will at least get through the first game, and yeah, I've never played those games, so that's super exciting. And Konami, shout out. Also, they have Super Bomberman R coming out this year, as well as Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Suikoden gets pushed because we haven't seen it, but Konami, hey, shout out, pretty good. Back to Square Enix, though, on November 2nd, we have Star Ocean, the Second Story R. I was surprised by how good this looks. I feel like more people should be talking about it, because if it were published by Nintendo, people would be. This looks better to me than Octopath, or Triangle Strategy, or Live Alive. I love this art style. HD2D is fantastic as well. I love the way those games look, but Second Story R, this is the remake, of course, of Star Ocean 2 from the SNES or Super Famicom. I love this art style. It's these 2D sprites and these 3D environments, and I think it looks fantastic. It's coming to all platforms, not Switch exclusive, but I think this is a sleeper. I think this game actually looks really good. I'm going to try to squeeze in a playthrough of Star Ocean 1. That is also on Switch. They remade that, not in the same art style, but similarly, they put it on Switch for like, I think, $25. So maybe in August, when there's not much to play, I'll try to squeeze that in. So that's super exciting to me. And then a day later, on November 3rd, we have WarioWare Move It. And this is what I was saying, like, yeah, 2022 had Xenoblade 3 and Splatoon 3 and Bayonetta 3 and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and Legends Arceus. This year has a lot more low-key games, but there's just so freaking many of them. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm, like, super excited for WarioWare Move It. I think it looks fun. I like WarioWare, but it's just like the icing on top of an already pretty stacked lineup for me. I'm going to get it. I'm going to play it. I'm going to enjoy it, but I'm not going to, freak out over any new trailer. I'm not going to analyze every piece of information. WarioWare's fun in the moment. It's not something I get super excited for personally. But moving through towards the middle of November, a stacked day. I'm sorry, Persona 5 Tactica. I will not be playing you anymore. November 17th, Super Mario RPG comes out. This game looks so good. I honestly can't believe it. I've seen some people saying they don't like the art style. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, obviously, it's all a matter of opinion, but I think Super Mario RPG looks fantastic. I think it's one of the best looking Switch games from an aesthetic standpoint, from an art direction standpoint. I love the way this looks. In terms of a remake of what I could have imagined a Super Mario RPG remake would look like, this looks perfect. This is exactly what I expected. It looks kind of like the box art. It's beautiful. I think this game is going to be fantastic, and as somebody who's never played Mario RPG, this, again, is kind of just a new game. you can look at Pikmin 1 and 2 and Baten Kaitos and even MGS Collection and say, oh, well, those aren't new games. And sure, they aren't. Those are more traditional, just ports, up-res, HD, all that. Super Mario RPG, I think for 90% of the Switch's audience, is a new game. It's the same argument people were making in 2018 when Tropical Freeze and Hyrule Warriors and Captain Toad came over to Switch. They were new games to most people, you know? So while on paper, sure, they aren't, Mario RPG especially, I think gets a lot more leeway because they completely remade it from the ground up, a la those Crash Bandicoot and Spyro remakes. So for me, that might as well count as a new game, and I'm very excited for that. That's probably next to Mario Bros. Wonder as my most anticipated this year as well, because I think it looks fantastic. I'm also low-key tempted to play the original on the SNES Mini before this comes out, because that isn't super long. That way I can kind of have that appreciation for what they've updated, but I'm not sure if I want to make time for that because it is such a stacked year. But then, yeah, of course, on November 17th as well, we have Persona 5 Tactica coming to all platforms. I think this game actually looks fantastic. I don't know if I'll have time to get to it now, because I'm starting my playthrough of the Yakuza series, and I've never actually beaten Persona 5, so I would need to do that first. Probably not going to happen, but I think Persona 5 Tactica looks really good. I love tactics games, and I think this one looks pretty dang special. And the final game we have a concrete release date for is Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince. No box art for this one, but December 1st, I like that we're just getting Dragon Quest games. As someone who has not beaten a single Dragon Quest game, my most played Dragon Quest game is probably Builders 2. I just like that the series just keeps getting games in the West. I worry that maybe they're doing too much. You know, last year we had Dragon Quest Treasures, which I don't think did very well at all. And I don't foresee this game doing super well in America either, because they do look a little bit more budget, and there does seem to not be that much hype for them. But Dragon Quest Monsters, this is a sub-series of Dragon Quest that people have long wanted to come back. This is, if you don't know, Pokemon Dragon Quest. You have your monsters. I believe there's fusion, like a Shin Megami Tensei game. I think this looks great. I'm excited for this. I don't know if I'll get to it on day one, but it's something I will definitely be checking out in the future regardless. And that's just the stuff with release dates, man. There is a ton of other stuff that I didn't even mention, and there are some games on here that have release dates. Sama de Amigo, that's a Switch exclusive, that's coming out in August. We have Mortal Kombat 1, which I don't think anybody's playing on Switch, but still coming to Switch. We have the Batman Arkham trilogy, that's exciting for a lot of people. Personal one for me, Hot Wheels Unleashed. I actually loved the first game. Not gonna play it on Switch because I think it looks pretty crusty, but Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 is actually low-key pretty hype for me. And then most notably, the biggest question mark here, and I really hope we get more information soon. In fact, I might even do a full video on this. We talked about it on the podcast, is level 5. I'm a little worried. It's July almost, and we don't know when Deca Police or Fantasy Life I are coming out. Those are two huge games I'm excited for this year, especially Fantasy Life, because that's a Switch exclusive. Deca Police is coming to everything, so maybe Nintendo won't market it that much, but Fantasy Life I could easily be a pretty huge game in, let's say, early October, mid-October, November, plus Deca Police. So I'm hoping we get a level 5 event soon to announce release dates for those, if they are still coming out this year. I wouldn't be surprised if they slip, or at least if Fantasy Life slips, maybe to January or something. But as it stands, while there might not be those AAA massive Nintendo, like, oh my god, they're reinventing Kirby moments this year, there's a couple of them, and I think this is a really stacked lineup, at least for me personally. I keep seeing people say, oh, the Switch is winding down. Oh, WarioWare improves it. You know, that's that kind of not a pun on the title. WarioWare and Mario RPG, these aren't new games, or they're lesser games or whatever. This means the Switch 2 is coming out early next year. I don't think so. To me, I look at this lineup and I'm like, wow, the Switch is almost... This is a crazy statement to make. It feels like the Switch is just now hitting its stride. And the Switch has hit so many strides already. Because 2022, I think, is a fantastic year as well. But there is just so much coming out from first and third party this year that I am so excited to play. So to wrap it all up here, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Which games coming to Switch, or even just in general, are you excited to play this year? For me, I will be definitely... My playtime will be dominated by the games I just talked about. Some of them I'll be playing on PS5, like Sonic Superstars, I'll get there, Hot Wheels, Naruto Storm, Mortal Kombat if I get it there. But there is just so much coming out this year that is available on Switch that I think a lot of people will choose to play on Switch, like that Dragon Quest game, Infinity Trash, which is coming to PS4 and Xbox. There's a ton to play this year. I've never actually looked at a lineup that feels more catered to me. Honestly, there's a perfect blend of like the Mario stuff, but also just your hardcore JRPG stuff, but also your stuff you've never played, like MGS. Like, This is perfect for me, man. So let me know what you're planning on picking up for the rest of 2023 in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you all think, because I think this is a pretty dang good lineup. Of course, subscribe here for more Nintendo Switch news, coverage, reviews, all that fun stuff, and follow me on Twitter at BoTalksGames. Until next time, folks, peace.